Happiness through curiosity on the Ranveer Show. If we widen the lens a little bit, the narratives that you hear in urban India about Europe are pretty dystopian. You hear about this whole immigration problem, how the locals are not happy with the immigrants or the refugees uh, in the last 5 to 10 years. How true is that? What's your viewpoint? What's the general future of Europe? Is it actually kind of the death of this long term empire? Because that's one of the narratives. Or is that just a cool thing to say for the non European world?
So it's not an empire anymore. It is definitely a richer society. They have better institutions because they spent centuries looting the rest of the world. And so if there is good infrastructure, it is thanks to our money, right? You want to see an old Indian artifact, you will have to go to the British Museum of Loot, pay money, and watch your own heritage, right? But okay, let's just say that what is gone is gone. So they are better endowed than us in terms of resources. Immigration is a complex subject, you know. On a human level, if someone is running away from war, we would want to help them. But is your taxpayer ready to pay for, because these are also societies where you get a lot of benefits. If you don't have a job, you get money, you get handouts from the government, you get housing, and so on. And where is that money coming from? The taxpayer's pocket, right? So if you add people who are not actively contributing to your society or your economy, but just adding to the burden, then at some point the taxpayer is going to get up and say, what's going on here? That is one thing. The second is the cultural makeup. These are not multi-ethnic. Some of them are not. They're used to seeing white people. You can't say that for London anymore. But so you're seeing pockets in Europe where you don't see white Europeans, and that unsettles some of them. They call it xenophobia, which it is. But for instance, in France, I think close to 10% of the population is Muslim. A lot of these people came from Algeria when France used to be the colonizer, and there was this war, and these people fought on the French side, so they had to come. Now you have second, third generation of those people. They've not been able to completely integrate in the French society, so they feel alienated.
Hostility.
They don't feel that they're part of the system.
I was in France last year where my Arab cab driver said that we don't speak to the white people. They don't talk to us.
So yeah, maybe so I'm saying that there are many layers to it, right? There are people who came as legit immigrants, but their children have not been assimilated into the society as they should have been. Then there are people who are running away from wars that the West may have contributed to. If Afghanistan is in a bad shape, it's because you guys came and dropped what you call the mother of all bombs and did not think twice. So where are those people going to go? When the Ukrainians come to Europe, you welcome them because they look like you, blue-eyed, golden-haired. But when Arabs come, then you are not so sure. That's one side of it. And all of these are realities. You can't say one is correct and one is not. So there is the economic angle to it. There is social and cultural angle to it. And then there is a third dimension. Germany, which used to be the growth engine of Europe, is now sluggish. It's going to stagnate. They use a term called donerflation. They have these doner kebabs, and the price has gone up. And the opposition is saying that we should give I think €4 million subsidy so that kebabs can be subsidized because it's a German way of life, and so on and so forth. Basically, there is inflation, there is not enough growth, and it's an aging society. So going forward, they will not have enough workers. So unless they take people in from outside, they will not be able to keep the growth engine going. Ideally, they would like to take in people who add value and do not add to the burden. But that's not a choice that you can always make. And somewhere you'll have to make up for all your historical, Italy is doing a deal with Tunisia, like appointing them as a bodyguard. You don't let anybody from Africa come into Italy. So they're just throwing money at the problem. UK is giving money to Rwanda, Italy is giving it to Tunisia. That's not working out as they would like it to work out. So people are still getting on board, boats risking their lives, boats capsize, people die, just in the hope of finding a life in Europe. That is a very sad reality. You'll have to look at all of it together to get a sensible picture of what's happening vis-a-vis immigration.
Wasn't there a phase in history where, I think this is pre-Crusades, I actually don't know when, because I've not studied medieval European history, but Europe was majority Muslim at one point, or parts of it?
Parts of it.
Spain was, I think, right? There is a theory I've read where they say that it's becoming an extension of Arabia again.
I think that's xenophobic trope.
I have no biases here.
No, I mean, what do you mean by it becoming an extension of Arabia? Yeah. Europe has benefited from the riches of the rest of the world. And now Europe will have to accommodate the rest of the world. That is what it boils down to. I mean, look at Iran, for instance. They had oil reserves. There was a time when, 5 odd big oil companies, all of them based in the West, had control over all the majority of the known reserves. And they tried to divide everything that was there amongst themselves, took all the money, plundered these lands. Now they can't turn around and say that everything that's happening there is your problem, not ours.
Hey, if you enjoyed this clip from the Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.